Today, I was talking to a potential client who is looking to get into the investment space. She had purchased an investment course and we were talking about all the options. Turns out she really wants to get into real estate too, so that might be kind of fun. But we talked a ton about how investors find deals, and I'm gonna bring that to you today from a seller's perspective, the red flags to watch out for. I will say this up front, sometimes it's a great deal depending on the time and all the factors that could go into your decision, but I want you to be aware of the red flags, so that's what we're gonna talk about today. What's up, guys? I am Jeremy Kane here with Living in the Denver Suburbs YouTube channel, as well as eXp Realty. And this is kind of near and dear to my heart. We have experienced an extremely good market as we talk about a ton on here. I pride myself in meeting buyers and sellers where they were at. I am a Denver native. I do work all the way up to the Wyoming border, as I am a CSU grad as well. So if you have any questions about buying or selling in Denver or really anywhere across the country, I love being a part of your story however I can within the law. And so please reach out, comment below, send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, all the things. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching this over on YouTube. And if you're not watching it on YouTube, I'm growing that community as well. So head over there as these videos are posted Thursday afternoon, and I'm super excited for that. So let's talk about this and really get into the crux of, selling a home. And a lot of times when you go to sell a home, whether it's distress, you got behind on your payments or whatever, we're constantly bombarded in this market with different tactics that realtors and investors use to get in front of us, whether that's door knocking, cold calling, sending postcards, all of the above, harassment, as some people might call it. And ultimately, the truth is a lot of those people are out there to help you and help, get your house on the market, move the real estate market, and get you the top dollar for your home. But also a lot of them are looking to make an income. There's people that buy homes, fix them up, and make money, and that's their living, which is awesome. It's needed. They're a needed piece in the process in some cases. So when we're talking about investors, we need to step back and utilize and understand that there is a profit involved for them. Sometimes it's because they do a lot of the work, or they have contractors that they can trust that, do a ton of deals for them, so they get the work at a lower cost. But most of the time, there is a profit margin which they are operating on. In our current market right now, depending on what you're looking at, you're gonna see an investor offer come in at 50 to 65% ARV, after repair value. So what that investor is doing is they're looking at what the home is gonna be after they fix it. Now, this is for fix and flip. Some investors are fix and hold people, and some investors are just collecting rentals. If you are in the need to sell your home quickly, well, you are in luck, because first off, there's a ton of investors out there. Second off, we could put it on the market and probably sell it within 20 to 30 days if it's priced appropriately. That's where the difference comes in. If you are able and willing to put it on the market and have a conversation with me about it, we can make what's the best decision for you. I have investors that I've trusted, that I've done deals with, because it made the most sense. It made the most sense for the seller, for the situation. Myself, I've purchased properties. I'm a hold guy. I'm not looking for distressed properties or anything like that. But as the seller, you have to understand that with a little bit of work and a little bit more time, you are leaving money on the table if you're going with the first person that's knocking on your door. And quite possibly all the people that are knocking on your door and sending you letters and doing all the things, because they have their interest in that place. They are making an income off of this. So here's the deal. I will tell you right now, straight off the top, if you are looking at selling your home to one of these cash offers on the internet, also the same. Those are kind of just investors presented a different way, or somebody that sent you a postcard or whatever. please, please, please reach out to me and I will look at the deal and I will absolutely tell you. It's not about my commission at that point. I will tell you what to look for. I will tell you if it's a good deal, a great deal, depending on your situation. And that's the only way you can really know. So what are some of these red flags that you see? When investors knock on your door and you're like, yeah, I want to sell, you let them in, they take some pictures, they get an idea of what the repair costs are. Now, I will tell you, there's also people that do that and then put it out to their market of investors, and that's called wholesaling. And those people are literally just the middleman trying to take 10, 15, 25,000 off the top, depending on your market, and have somebody else buy it and flip it. So that right there should tell you that there's absolutely room for profit. But if we can put the home on the market, in this market right now, we can absolutely sell it pretty quickly, and we can also get you a little bit more. And that includes, right? Because they're going to say, no real estate commissions, we'll pay for title, we'll pay for all of this, because that's all built in. You're paying for it. They're just paying less for your house. So please beware of this. And it's not a scam. It is their income. It is needed in some cases, but we have to make sure that we are doing what's right. So some red flags to look out for right now, sub 2 or subject to are huge. I would highly discourage anybody to consider a subject to loan or a subject to purchase, because the subject to purchase is essentially them taking ownership of your home, keeping the loan, which you've signed to, which you are attached to a deed of trust, keeping that loan as is. They own the home, they're moving renters in. They say if there's default, then they'll sign the deed back over to you. I don't know even how that's legal, but it is. And so when this happens, you are out of the house, you are off the deed, and you still have the debt that is hopefully being paid back, and there's an agreement with that, but if they default, that's going to affect your credit. It's also going to affect your ability to get into another home. And so you really, there is a very small chance that that is a good deal. So be very wary of the subject to. And if you are considering it, I highly recommend talking to an attorney before you do any of that. And I would tell you that if you called me with a subject to kind of idea. Some of it is really good and some of it is really bad, and all in one kind of transaction there. So watch out for the subject to. Also watch out for, people who all of a sudden, are buying it as is, but then need to come and inspect the property. And then they're inspecting the property. Truth is, you're under contract with them. Depending on how the contract was written, if it's assignable, they could be shopping your home and you're in the same situation you were before, right? They're coming to look at the house. They're trying to shop it to investors so that they can just assign it to them. They get the difference and we're off and running. So we need to make sure that the wholesale kind of idea, you will hear a lot of final sale. And when you see things on the internet, end buyers only or final sale only, that means that the person that's writing that contract fully intends to purchase the contract. The contract in Colorado is not assignable at this time. And so that's something you have to also keep in mind is, how the verbiage is. If you are purchasing or selling your home with somebody who's knocking on your door, could be a licensed real estate agent or not, I highly suggest having an attorney or hiring your own real estate agent to properly advise you on the contract and what's going on. So that's one thing. And then the other red flag that I've already kind of touched on is we'll pay all the fees. We're taking it as is, no real estate commissions, no this, no that. They think that is, a great, deal to you, and they're putting that in front of you. Again, they're offering you 50 to 65% of what your home is worth after repair value. And so it's great. They'll say, leave anything you want. We'll take care of it. Just, meet us at the closing table, give us the keys, we'll give you the cash. And so that's super important. Also, always verify if they have proof of funds. But as a seller, you are leaving money on the table by the very nature of selling to an investor. Now, if time is of the essence and you need the money to, go to the next place or get out from a bad situation or whatever, there's certainly opportunity and need for these investor buyers. But I just wanted to come to you tonight and help you understand that we need to take a look at this. And an all cash offer right here, right now, 10-day close, no fees, no anything, is likely too good to be true. Or, if time is the most important thing to you, then maybe it is good enough to be true. And so when we're doing that, we want to make sure. Now, another thing, when these investors come to you and you're in negotiations, you have the right to negotiate. Push back. A lot of them will say, oh no, that's my highest, or, they want to be the last, or they want to be the first. If you are doing this alone, at the very least, negotiate, stand your ground. If they say, we're buying it as is, hold them to it. If you're buying it as is, you are buying it as is. No objections. We're not fixing anything. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. Right? And, talk about putting the earnest money hard and all of those things. You have the opportunity to do those things, and you can negotiate. Sometimes when you have these people that are giving you this offer, they're offering you $500,000 cash, whatever it looks like, we kind of shut down and we don't understand we have the ability to negotiate. There's nothing wrong with, before going under contract, you getting a second opinion. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to me, your real estate agent, or any other trusted real estate agent, and just saying, hey, what's your opinion of this? Likely what happens when my clients and when my people reach out to me on this is I say, okay, here's the deal. We could probably get as is, say $400,000 for your home. Typically that's $50,000 higher, 10 to 15% higher than what you're getting as a quick cash offer knock on the door. Now, you hire an agent, maybe they do the negotiating for you, which I highly recommend, and we can bring those investors up a little bit. The bottom line is it's the numbers that make sense to them. They know how much it's going to cost to fix it. They know how much the holding cost is. They know all of this stuff. So they're just saying, okay, perfect. As the market kind of tightened in 2022, 2023, investors' ARV, or what they would offer, went down because they weren't getting that, boost from how the market was appreciating so quickly, because they'd buy a house and it would be appreciating overnight, right? Because the next house is going for multiple offers and over asking. And so they had a little bit of insurance there. When the market slowed down and those multiple offers kind of fell off, that's when we had differentiation of, okay, maybe we're getting a 50, 55% ARV. So that's super important to understand. And just so you know, I've told this story on this YouTube channel before. I walked into a home. It was a tenant of mine who had purchased a home, and then their mother had also had a home that they owned. Their mother called me 28 days before the sale. And she said, I've been getting these knocks, I've been getting these letters, I've been getting all of this for a long time. And ultimately, I just had to do this because she had some personal issues going on. She had, some health issues. She's like, I had to pay for this instead of the house. And she called me 28 days before that foreclosure scheduled sale date, which in Colorado is 120 days after the notice is finally filed with the county, and they issue a sale date. So what I did was I said, okay, this is what we need to do. The house had a lot of things in it. It had some work. It wasn't ready to go on the market right away. However, we enlisted, her son was able and ready to kind of clear it out, because what I was able to do was sell her home in 29 days. We pushed the sale date back because as an agent, I can call the attorney, the trustee, and say, hey, we're going to put it on the market. Can you give us some time? They agreed to do that. They extended it like 30 or 60 days. We sold 29 days after the initial conversation. That seller walked away from the table with $400,000 in her hand. That 28 days, if she would have waited 28 days or we wouldn't have got that extension, she would have lost, given it back to the bank. The bank would have cleared out the house, put the house back on the market, and gotten that, profit plus paid off their debt that, was her loan. So it's really important when you're in these situations to reach out. We provide options. I was sitting down with my client / future agent, and I was just like, here's the deal. This is how investors work. This is what you're doing. You're essentially going at these home sellers, and you're trying to find a direct need for them to need money quicker than it would take to list the property in our current market. She was like, okay, that's not really me. I believe in energy. Essentially she's a pretty good person. And so I said, here's the deal. you get your license. This is not on the back burner. There's still a time and a need for investors, but you can offer options to your people and really make a difference and change people's lives. So that was super exciting. It was a really interesting conversation because she was an investor as well as, aspiring real estate agent. So we had that conversation. But I just encourage you, if you are in this situation or anyone is in this situation, they're behind on payments, their house is distressed, they have to make a move, to not just take the first thing that comes because it seems easy, there's no fees, and everything goes from there. The fees will absolutely take care of business. So I hope this makes sense to you, and I hope to see you in future videos. Like I said, if you're watching on Facebook, head over to the YouTube channel at Living in the Denver Suburbs. If you're on YouTube, head over to Facebook. Let's grow these communities and let's do what's right. If you are in a situation where you're looking to sell a home, you need to sell it quick, I will review any situation you have and give you the best information. And if the best deal is that investor deal and I don't make $1 from it, I'm going to tell you the truth. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.